Hey everyone, welcome to Correlation Nation. This is the PropSpot. Today is March 27th, and we have a pretty large slate. I think it's a 12-game slate, so we have a lot to get into, and we're just going to hop right into it. And the first thing we're going to do when we hop into this deal is we're going to go ahead and identify the injuries that we're dealing with on today's slate and get past that. So, Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they both have a Q tag. LeBron's probably a pretty strong lean to play today. He got held out yesterday. And then Anthony Davis had a monster game. But considering the way he looked, and even though he did have a very good and productive game, there's probably a pretty good chance that he's going to get held out. But it's something that you just got to wait and see. We don't really know. There is the possibility that he could play. But again, I'm leaning he's probably out. LeBron's probably in. We'll slide down. Lauri Markkanen, he is questionable, and he's been dealing with a little bit of injury management here recently. So again, that's kind of a wait and see thing. There's probably a pretty good chance he plays today, but keep your eye on that starting lineup. Ayton, he's a questionable. He hasn't played in a few games, so I'd say he's a true questionable. And I don't know what real incentive they have to go ahead and just push this guy to play. There's always the chance that, I'll just say it's a 50-50. Again, watch the starting lineup on this guy. Gobert, questionable tag. He probably has a pretty good chance to start. He's been playing after, dealing with the rib injury. So I'd say the Q tag is from that. But he does have a pretty good chance to start. Duran's questionable. He's been out the past 3 games, I believe. And today he should be reinserted back into the starting lineup. We have him projected for I would say probably 24 to 28 minutes. So right in around in there is what our projection has him at. Wiseman, we have him underneath. No real prop projections on him. I put him in there just in case Duran was out. He could definitely get some rebounds, but we'll touch on that when we go by it. Joker, the whole Nuggets team, they're pretty. They got a bunch of Q tags. Nikola, Michael Porter. And let's just actually hop right over there because I think all their guys are basically queued up. So yeah, you got Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola. So Jamal, from what I understand, Jamal's pretty unlikely to play. Michael Porter and Nikola, they're probably more on the other side. They're probably more likely to play. And then I'm not really sure about Aaron Gordon. Let's tap in on him and see what's going on. Foot injury, it shows. Let's see. So he missed the last game. Yeah. Yeah, if that's an accurate report, then I would say there's a pretty good chance that he is going to sit out. But just keep your eye on this starting lineup. This is one that you really want to pay attention to since they have a bunch of questionable tags. We'll go ahead and click on these other guys real quick. Again, I have a pretty good lean that Murray's going to be out today. So Michael Porter, an illness, probable. So he's pretty likely, like I said. And then Nikola. So he's probable with lower back and left hip inflammation. He's a big guy. He probably deals with this type of thing. So I don't think that's going to keep him out. If the other guy's set, he's probably pretty live to play, especially since they're going against the Suns. Um, what kind of run they get. It probably just depends on how the game starts to unfold. But anyways, we'll move on. Wimby, he's questionable. I think he had an ankle sprain here a while back, so he's probably got a Q tag for that. And again, he's a guy that's probably a true 50-50. Probably, well, I wouldn't say 50-50, but true questionable where he probably has a little bit of a stronger lean to play, but there is always the possibility he doesn't. Again, they're a team that they probably don't have a lot of reason to push this guy. Nurkic is probably unlikely to play. He had a bad ankle sprain, and I would say pretty unlikely to play. But you never know. with those type of injuries, sometimes they could look bad and then not be so bad. So keep your eye on the starting lineup, but I would say the way it looked is he's pretty likely to sit today. Cam Thomas, he was ruled out. He was a late scratch in the last game, back spasms, and he's a true questionable. It's something that he could definitely play from, or he could play today, but also miss. You never really know with the back injuries, back spasms. They can continue to linger on for a little while, and so he's a pretty young guy. I would say he has a pretty good chance to play today. Trace, he was scratched in the last game as well after taking a fall or like bumping his knee or something like that, and I'm not really that sure whether he's going to play or not. So, he's not a starter. He's not, somebody you're looking to play a whole lot of props on anyways. So maybe just keep your eye on that report and, temper your expectations on a guy that's got a Q tag. Anthony Simons, I believe that he's already been scratched, so we're going to go ahead and mark him out. And so that's Anthony Edwards. He's questionable tag. I'm not really sure what he's dealing with. We'll pull this up real quick. I don't think it's going to keep him out. This guy plays through about everything. So we'll go ahead and pull it up and see what the report says. Well, come on now. All right, here we are. Finger. So that's the finger he dislocated here a while back. Yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. He does have the Q tag, but he's probably pretty likely to play. I don't think that. I mean, he played that same game when he dislocated that finger. He came back and played. I can't foresee him missing due to that injury. A little tidbit. Here's Jaren Jackson and Bane. Just as I'm going by him, I will mention, and I don't have this down, but I believe Brandon Clark has a possibility coming back today. He tore his Achilles, I think, last season, and yeah, he should be coming back. So there's a chance if he comes back, he's going to be running pretty small stints. It's going to be like strictly like backup 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, that'll probably be it for him. So not real significant, but just a little mention on that. DeJounte Murray is questionable, and that's a true Q, maybe even a doubtful. You'll just have to wait and see. But there's a chance that he doesn't play today. They could hold him out, and just keep your eye on that. Jamal Murray, we already mentioned him, probably pretty unlikely to play. Oubre is questionable, and we'll pull him up because I'm not exactly sure what he's dealing with either. And let's run through this the wrong way. There we are. Oubre, he is questionable. Shoulder. So he missed his last game, which I was unaware of. So just shoulder soreness. Yeah, just keep your eye on it. But yeah, I'd say true Q. That's all I'm really gonna say on that. Run. Bradley Beal. He hurt his finger in the last game. They taped him up. I think that he didn't come back, but he has a chance to play. They'll probably just see how his finger's feeling and go from there. But keep your eye on that lineup. He has a chance to play. Has a chance to miss. So true Q on him as well. Might be just a game time decision. Cade and Ivy, both questionable, and they both have a chance to miss. I think Ivy, he was somebody that was brought up midday, so he has a true possibility of missing this game. It's never a good sign when they get put on the report like midday, so I would be cautious with him. And then Cade is somewhere. He's somewhere in here. There they are. Let's see what Cade says. Knee. So I think he's been dealing with this. He's been managing this injury for a while. So knee rest, is at risk at missing his third consecutive game due to injury management of his left knee. Yeah, and they're another team where they don't really have any real motivation or incentive to push these guys to play. And Cade's one of their building blocks of the future. I can't imagine they're going to push him if he's not feeling 100%. There's always the good chance that they just allow him to sit today. And then, like I said, Ivy, he was brought up this afternoon, and I don't know why it moved. Kind of odd. So knee as well. Wasn't on the initial report. He's dealing with knee issue in the hours leading up to tip-off. Quentin Grimes has been ruled out. So, you're looking, Sasser illness. Yeah, you're going to have to keep an eye on this injury report as well. I mean, I think they're going to get, is it the Knicks? No, it's Minnesota. So Minnesota is one of the better teams, one of the stronger defenses. And this could get ugly real quick. That's kind of. But if these guys miss and Sasser plays, and Sasser, you could definitely look at playing some of his point prop for sure, because you could probably get it at a pretty low number. Anyway, sorry. Anyways, we won't get too deep into that. So those are kind of your Q tags for the day. You'll keep an eye on some of these, but like I said, Anthony Davis more than likely out. Jamal Murray more than likely out. Ayton true questionable. Talk about the guys that we think are probably going to miss. DeJounte Murray, yeah, I'd say he has a pretty good chance of not playing, but again, that's not a guarantee. And then Cade and Ivy, pretty good chance they don't play, but again, you don't know that. Kuminga, he's questionable. I guess I skipped on by that. Kuminga is questionable, and he played pretty well in the last game. I don't know. Keep your eye on it. So, anyways, hopping back into the slate, see what's going on. Claxton 10 rebounds, 11 points, and I actually wish I had this pulled up elsewhere, but Brooklyn going against Washington, that's a pretty good spot for the centers. And he's, his production's pretty good. I probably have him. He's like a 12 rebound type of guy, and he probably plays around 30 minutes, I'd say. So we have him projected probably around like 28, 30 minutes, 10 rebounds, 11 points. Those are pretty doable numbers, or even pretty likely, really. But again, Claxton, I'd be looking at his rebound prop more than his point prop, just based off of, who he is as a player. But both those numbers are definitely live. Anthony Davis, like I said, probably out. But if he does happen to play, you could be looking at 11 rebounds, 21 points. Both those are pretty live numbers. I always like, the rebound prop on a guy like this, especially that he's injured. If you can get it to 10, I like it more. But he is a 12 rebound type of guy, and these numbers are super, super live if he plays. LeBron, 5 rebounds, 20 points. I don't really love LeBron's rebound prop because he's not a super strong rebounder. However, 5 is a low number. It's pretty live. And then 20 plus points, really. I mean, you're looking at maybe it's not the best matchup in the world. However, this guy's throughout his career is consistently hitting 20 plus points, and he's been scoring the ball pretty well before sitting out this last game. So you could be looking at anywhere from 20 to 25 points and feel okay about that. But again, my objective is to hit these, and so that's why I have them at, kind of like a floor of 20 points. But you can always get a little bit higher than that as well. So it depends on what's available, but you're a lot more likely to hit it at 20 than 25. Chet, 8 rebounds, 15 points. The live numbers, but I don't really love this guy's props. he's in a pretty good spot. Let's see who they're playing as far as like the rebound prop goes, because he is like a 10 rebound guy, and he's probably going to play around 30 minutes, I would say. So let's just see. So they are playing Houston. Yeah, I guess that's not the worst spot because Jabari should be guarding him. And then SGA is out today. I don't think I mentioned that. That's pretty significant. But, he was scratched. So he's out. These are live numbers. 15 is not a super high number. But again, I probably say I like the rebound prop a little bit more than the points prop. But I'll tell you, yeah, both of those are pretty live. Giddey 6 rebounds. His role's always a little bit questionable. He typically plays around 24. I'd say 24 minutes. That's why we're at 6 rebounds. So the prop is pretty good, but the role is questionable. But yeah, it's a live number for sure. Kessler 8 rebounds, kind of the same thing as Giddey. These numbers are based off of their average minutes and their 36, and it is a good matchup. You just always got to think that the role is a little bit questionable. Let's pull it up and see who they're going against, because that could affect the minutes. Just like J Val yesterday, we took his prop and we said, okay, let's cut their minutes down a little bit based off the opposing team. And, that actually came to fruition. He actually hit right around the number we projected. So, I don't know. I probably went right by these guys. There they are. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you are kind of looking at that Wembanyama. That's actually very, very similar, ironically, to the other, because the other one was Chet, right? Victor Wembanyama could definitely pull you away from the basket with his spacing, and that could greatly affect Kessler's minutes. So let's cut his rebound prop down to 6 and just say like this is a super volatile bet. So Kessler's super volatile today because of the matchup. Collins, he's still a little bit more live just based off that same matchup. So 9 rebounds. He does rebound the ball pretty well. Is kind of a tough spot, and just the fact that he's going to have to get the ball over Victor Wembanyama. But you 7-8 to, or let's just say 7 to 9 rebounds, somewhere in there. If you can get it lower, you want to take that. But he's very live for 9 rebounds, 13 points. So these are doable numbers. I don't hate it. Laurie, 8 rebounds, 20 points. He probably has a pretty good chance of playing a little bit more at the 4. I don't know that they would play him at the 5. I don't think they would. I may be wrong about that, but he would actually match up on Victor Wembanyama better than, like, say, Collins or even Kessler. So you could look to see that they might try to match him up on Victor Wembanyama. So 8 rebounds is pretty live, but again, that is a bit of a volatile bet. It really depends on where he's playing. If he's playing the 4 or the 5, you could look for him to get there. And then 20 points. Yeah, I'd say the 20 points is pretty live. Jabari, 7 rebounds, 10 points. I think he could get there, especially in the rebounds. Oklahoma's really bad about giving up rebounds, especially offensive rebounds. So this is a super live number. However, I would like to mention that Jabari's minutes have definitely been fluctuating and going up and down, but more down than up. And he's been in foul trouble, and obviously got suspended. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind the rebound prop, but I would like to mention just how volatile this guy's role actually is. So be very careful with him. Landell at 3 rebounds. Yeah, that's a super live, super, super, super duper live bet. You could definitely look to get it. I don't know if that prop's available, but it's live for sure. Almond Thompson, 8 rebounds, 10 points. I like this guy's props. You're looking at probably around 24 minutes for the guy. So you could cut the rebounds down just a bit, but the 10 points is super live too. His rebounding has been pretty hot lately. So I don't mind 8, but if you can get a little bit lower, you definitely want to look to grab that. Hardenstein, 6 rebounds. Hart, 8 rebounds. Yeah, they're in a good spot. The only thing I would mention is that there's probably a pretty wide spread on this game. They are going against, I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but I know it wasn't. It's probably a pretty nasty game. Yeah, Toronto. Toronto's in shambles. They're not very good. So they're probably going to get smashed. However, Hart will probably still play pretty big minutes. I think you can count on most of these key players playing pretty big minutes. Thibodeau just likes to play him really heavy minutes, so there is that on your side. Hartenstein, one negative on him is six rebounds. Here's the positive thing: 6 rebounds is a small prop. He can get there pretty easily. Now, the one thing I'd like to mention that could hinder this is the fact that Robinson, I think, has a chance to play. What kind of minutes and stuff he'll get is beyond me. But, yeah, I don't know. I'd say 6 is still pretty live because it is a low number. He's a great offensive rebounder. And as long as he gets, even half that run, which I'd say he probably does, he's pretty live to get to 6 rebounds. So you might kind of or pretend like that arrow's there. You might not want to play him at more than 6 rebounds just to see how the minutes play out today. But yeah, 6 is pretty live. Zubac at 8 rebounds. There they were right there. I just went right by him. Philadelphia. Yeah, pretty live number, I'd say. He should get good enough minutes to get to 8. Westbrook 3 rebounds. You don't know what his role's going to be, but he's like a 8 to 9 rebound per 36 this year, and so this projection is like basically saying him getting just a third of the minute, or I guess that's like 12 minutes, right? I'd say it's pretty doable. Westbrook's a pretty good rebounder. He shows you pretty consistently that he's a guy that will put the effort in going up and getting rebounds. And if he was getting consistent role and consistent minutes, obviously this prop would be much higher. So I definitely don't mind Westbrook, but you don't know what his role is going to be. Kawhi 4 rebounds, 20 points. I don't mind his props. Capella 9 rebounds, 10 points. I don't mind his either, but you want to keep an eye on Okongwu. I think Okongwu has been ruled out. If Okongwu's not playing, then this guy's role becomes a lot more secure. We all know that. And if that's the case, then I really like this guy's role. Ayton on the other side would also kind of help secure those minutes. Okongwu is out. It shows right here that Okongwu's out. So Capella's props are pretty good, I would say. Rashawn Holmes at 10 rebounds, 9 points. I don't know what his points prop will be. He had a pretty monster game last time. He's actually playing pretty well right now. He's rebounding really well. Now, the concern is you don't know, what the minute split's going to be between him and Mobley. But the fact that he's playing so well, I'd say there's a good chance that he gets around 2/3 of those 30, let's just say he's going to probably play at least 24 minutes, and there's a good chance that he gets up around 30. With guys like this, what I like to do is I like to project them closer to the 24, the lower end of the number, and then just that way we have a much safer floor. You know what I mean? If they go over that and they exceed our expectations, that's okay. I don't really bet under, so if they go over, it doesn't hurt us at all. So, anyways, 10 rebounds, rebounding the ball extremely well, 9 points. These are live numbers. I don't know how much you want to count on Holmes' scoring, but the rebounds I would say is pretty live. 10 might be a little bit high, but he is rebounding the ball well. So, anyways, moving on. Avdia 8 rebounds, 16 points. If this guy's playing, I think he is. Super live numbers for this guy. He's been playing really well. I don't mind it. Typically not the strongest scorer, but he's been showing the ability to get there, getting to the 16 points. I think I was betting him around 14. Keep that in mind. Maybe make a note of that. But 8 rebounds, 14 to 16 points. Super live numbers. Kuzma 6 rebounds, 23 points. I don't love Kuzma's rebound prop. He's a guy that tends to kind of fail me. He's not the most consistent rebounder. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I love Kuzma's rebound prop. But 23 points is pretty live for him. He's a good scorer. As long as he's getting the minutes, he's probably going to get there in points. Jared Allen, 10 rebounds, 15 points. Not a bad matchup, and he's been playing the ball, been playing pretty well. I mentioned last time, Mobley coming back does kind of hurt his numbers. Allen 10 rebounds. He's a strong rebounder, but so is Mobley. So 90-10 rebounds, live numbers, 15 points, pretty doable. I think Strus is coming back today, or has the potential of coming back today. That could cut into the production a little bit, but this guy gets quite a bit of touch time down low. I don't know. You might be a little bit careful with the rebound, or not the rebound, but the points prop on this guy, just based off the uncertainty with these other offensive players coming back. Mobley's going to take a bit of offense. Strus will take a bit of offense, and that could affect him. So be careful with that. Mobley 8 rebounds, 12 points. Yeah, I don't know. You gotta feel okay about it, but the concerning part is, he just came back from injury. What kind of run is he going to get? So I'd say 24 is a pretty feasible projection. Like as far as a floor. So I'd say he'll probably get 24 minutes and then maybe up to 30. I don't know. I think he started him pretty low and he got up close to 30 last time. So, obviously he's probably trending on the way up. So 8 rebounds, 12 points, not the worst props. Ayton, truly questionable. 8 rebounds, 16 points. Sorry, 8 rebounds, 16 points. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Just keep your eye on this guy is inconsistent throughout his career. We've mentioned this before, so just be careful with this guy. Vucevic, 10 rebounds, 18 points. Yeah, I don't love the points prop. We mentioned this the other day. Kind of depends on where he falls in the pecking order, but 10 rebounds is a pretty live number. Miles Turner, 6 rebounds, 14 points. Inconsistent rebounder, low enough number that you could consider it. I'm not going to run to play it, but the 14 points is a pretty live number for Miles Turner in this game. You might like it a little bit more at 12. It makes it a lot more likely to hit, but he can definitely get there. Siakam, 6 rebounds, 19 points. Been rebounding the ball pretty well. I think his last game not so well, but in a pretty good spot. Not the strongest rebounder in the world, but like I said, has been rebounding the ball pretty well lately. So you could definitely consider the 6 rebounds, but 19 points is pretty live. Wendell, 6 rebounds, kind of the same thing. Not the greatest rebounder in the world. 10 points. This guy's going to probably play. Maybe sounds like a broken record, but I'm going to say right around 24 to 28 minutes is probably where we're going to see Wendell fall. 6 rebounds, 10 points. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. I'm not going to run to play any of the props on this guy. Banchero, 6 rebounds, inconsistent rebounder, 19 points. Little bit volatile in my opinion. Not the most consistent player in the world, but definitely should have the opportunity. Usage is there. Yeah, I think the 19 points is pretty live, but again, just bearing in mind that he has been inconsistent throughout his career. And then you look at Aldama at 6 rebounds. I have him at 6 rebounds because he's been rebounding the ball pretty well lately. But I've been betting this at 4. So if I can get it at 4, I'm still going to continue to take it, even though he's been rebounding the ball well. I just like the. I just like that, I have a much better chance of hitting if I can get him at 4, but this number is going to continue to go up if, he continues to rebound the ball as well as he has been. But yeah, 4 to 6 rebounds, definitely live number. Gobert, probably going to play 13 rebounds and 14 points. 13 is kind of a high number, but very strong rebounder in a I would say relatively okay spot. I think the other guy on the other side is pretty good. Is it Duran? Yeah, I think we talked about this. Duran's also a really strong rebounder, and actually Duran's a stronger rebounder than Gobert. Um, at least his per 36 is higher. Gobert's around a little bit higher than 13, close to 14, and Duran's actually over 14. So yeah, that could hurt his rebounds a little bit. You know, we have him at 13, which is a little bit under his 36. He does play pretty heavy minutes when he plays. He averages like 36, 37, so he should be right around that number. But you might cut it down a little bit just because the opponent could definitely steal some of those rebounds. So let's call Gobert. We have him at 13, but let's call him like 11. If you can get him at 11, much more live than the 13. 13 might be kind of tough for him to get to going against a very strong rebounder in Duran. And then even Wiseman. Wiseman's been rebounding the ball very well as well. So 14 points. I like that more around 11, but 14's. Yeah, I mean he's not a primary offensive guy. That's not who Gobert is. This is something that you have to remember. Gobert is defensive minded player and he's a strong rebounder. That's who Gobert is. He's going to rely on lobs and stuff and putbacks to get to the points. And not to say that he can't. He definitely can. But he's just not an offensive minded guy. So with that being said, you might not really want to play his points prop, but it is an okay spot, I guess. Nick Richards, 9 rebounds, pretty tough spot. Same spot he was in the other day. He definitely didn't get there. He got like 2 or 3 rebounds. Limited minutes for sure. I think they got blown out, but that's a possibility again today. They are playing Cleveland, and Charlotte's, they're abysmal right now. So, beware of this matchup. Miles Bridges, it's kind of the same thing really as far as matchup goes. 7 rebounds, 18 points. Don't love the rebound prop. 18 points is probably more live than the rebounds. Minutes, if they can keep it even somewhat close, this guy plays heavy minutes. And so if he can get there in minutes, there's a chance he can get there in points. But again, it's a tough matchup. Duran, 9 rebounds, 10 points. Yeah, I mean, I'd be a little cautious just coming back from injury. What's his minutes going to be? I have him again. I just mentioned this guy. He's like a 14 rebound guy, and so I have him projected probably around 28 minutes ish, maybe even 24. So, I mean, you could look at the props, but it's a tough matchup coming back from injury. I don't love them, but the production's usually there with this guy, and we'll just move on. We just take it for what it is. Nikola Jokic is 12 rebounds, so that's right around his per 36. Should get pretty heavy minutes. He's in a tough matchup. But if Nurkic is out, this guy is live for these numbers, more than live, because if Jamal Murray's out, then we could definitely be looking at these numbers or, him exceeding these numbers. So 12 rebounds on what looks like a tough matchup on paper could be changed pretty quickly with the scratch of Nurkic. So 12 rebounds, 25 points. Yeah, keep your eye on the lineup, because if Nurkic happens to play somehow, then I like this guy still, but at a lower number, we're looking at probably like 10 rebounds. And then on the points, yeah, I don't mind the points probably either way. I mean, I don't think Nurkic is going to stop him from scoring, but let's just say 23. I bet him at 23 a lot. So 10 and 23 is a lot more likable if Nurkic is in. However, if he's out and Jamal's out, then you can definitely look to fire up these props at 12 and 25 and feel pretty good about it. I think he's averaging actually 27 points. So, there's a little bit of a window there, even at 25. Michael Porter Jr. 6 rebounds. Rebound props kind of the same deal. I probably won't be looking to play this guy a whole lot. If he's dealing with an illness. But if all the offensive guys, I don't know. I mean, energy wise, rebounds, I feel like is kind of like an energy thing. So if you're sick, then I'm not sure the energy is going to be there. 6 is a little bit low, but I'd be definitely questioning that, especially just considering the circumstances. However, 16 points isn't the worst prop on this guy, even though he is dealing with an illness. You know, the guy shoots the ball extremely well, and I just don't think it takes as much energy to shoot a ball as it does to get a rebound. So 16 points is, I'd say, still pretty live prop on him. Victor Wembanyama, 10 rebounds, 21 points. Yeah, just light numbers. You know, we won't say too much about it. You know, as long as he's playing, I think that he can get to these. I do happen to bet him at a little bit lower points prop, usually like 19. And I'm going to pull him up real quick because I actually don't think he's been shooting the ball very well. Let me. I don't know why it's pulling up. Yeah, let's pull this guy up. You know, up and down, up and down. I mean, you can see. Let's just look at like this past 5-6 games, but you can see was under even 19. Okay, then 31, and then under 19, and then 33, and then under. So he was under last time, and we're kind of got an on off thing going here. So tomorrow could be the day that tonight could be the night that he's on, most certainly. But you may not love the points prop just based off of that. You might look at like Vassell a little bit more. Sohan 6 rebounds. You know, not a great matchup. Who are they playing against, anyways? Utah. Yeah, they're pretty tough. Utah's actually really tough they're pretty tough on the board. So I don't know. You may not look to play the rebound prop on either of these guys. That's probably a pretty tough matchup. Bamba and Reed. Yeah, I mean, they're low numbers, but I don't love it. It's kind of a tough matchup on paper. You know, I think they're going against the Clippers. Their defense and everything's been pretty bad lately. So maybe not the worst spot, but you know, inconsistent roles, and at any point, you know, the Clippers could figure it out and start playing a lot better. So don't hate it, don't love it. You know, I'm probably not going to be looking to play these too much. Tobias, five rebounds, 12 points. You know, I'd say this points props not too bad, especially like I said, the opponents. Let me pull it up just to clarify, because if I'm wrong, yeah, that's the right matchup. Yeah, 12 points, very, very live number for Tobias. You know, he's been playing a little bit better since he came back from injury, so I don't hate it. Nurkic, like I said, pretty questionable to play. Kevin Durant, 6 rebounds, 22 points. I'll be honest, I don't really love playing rebound props on or against the Nuggets. They tend to be really, and I don't even like KD's rebound prop to begin with. It's kind of a super volatile bet. So, you know, we don't really love this. And 22 points. It's pretty live for KD. He can get there. But tough matchup. However, if all of their players or, you know, a bunch of their players are setting, then, you know, that's going to affect their defense quite a bit. And the Suns could definitely be looking at a guy like KD to keep them in this game. So 22 points is a pretty likable number, honestly. Olynyk 6 rebounds. Yeah, that just is what it is. It's just a projection. He could get there. I don't love it, though. You know what I mean? He's an inconsistent guy, not a strong rebounder. Role or, you know, minutes should be there mostly. But again, just because he's not a strong rebounder, I'm not going to be looking at this. RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quigley, they were scratched. They had a chance to maybe come back today, but yeah, they didn't get there. So Trace, 7 rebounds, 12 points. Tough matchup. I think they're going against Orlando. You don't want to play like any rebound props against these guys, I'll be honest. Like, it's just a tough spot. 12 points. Yeah, I'm just not looking to play this guy. He's also questionable, so, you know, not the most favorable plays. Same thing with Draymond Green, 6 rebounds, not looking to play it. Brandon sent to the bench, 4 rebounds, 6 points, tough matchup. Don't love it. Cameron Thomas, if he does play, then he's pretty live to get the 21 points. I don't mind that. Michael, 14 points. I don't really love playing his points prop, but it's a low enough number. He could definitely get there. Again, just not something I'm in love with. Schroeder, If Cam Thomas happens to set, then you can look to play this guy's points prop. Um, maybe around 12. We got him at 14, but I like 12 more. So if you can find it at 12, if Cam Thomas sets, Schroeder at 12 points, pretty live number. 14's live. I just like it more at 12. DeRozan 22 points, pretty good spot. He has an opportunity to get there. Um, I'm having a fart on this guy. It's Kobe White. That's his name, Kobe. I'm like, what's this guy's name? Kobe White, 19 points. He's just trying to come back from injury as far as like production and stuff. I think he had a pretty good game in his last game. Let's look at his recent production since coming back. Kobe White. He got there last time. His minutes are have come back. But the production. Let's see. It's really hard to gauge just because Washington's so bad. Boston's tough. Houston's pretty tough against the guard, and so you're looking at. Yeah, I just look at it as a bit volatile. I mean, I definitely think he can get there. It's a live number, but it's a volatile bet. Until you see that he's come back, his production's come back since injury. I'd wait for him to get there and start kind of proving, hey, I'm back, I'm back. So volatile bet, but definitely a live number. Vassell 17 points. I actually like this, especially after looking at the Spurs and their opponent. Utah gives up a lot of points, fast pace, and Vassell should be in a pretty good spot, I think, today. So 17 points on Vassell. I do like that. Scoot 13 points, pretty good spot. Obviously he's volatile. I mean, he's a rookie. He's inconsistent. He gets in foul trouble. But 13 points is a low number. This guy averages somewhere between like 18 and 20 per 36. So even if he can stay on the court, for a little over 20 minutes, he's pretty live to get to the 13 points. So I don't mind this, and it's a pretty reasonable matchup. They're going to need his body on the court. Banton, kind of the same thing, really. Simon's being out. I don't know if he'll start or not, but he'll probably still get pretty good run. 12 points, pretty live number. But, again, volatile bet because you don't know what the role is actually going to be. Anthony Edwards, he's questionable, likely to play, 25 points. Inconsistent score for sure. But, also an explosive player. So if he's playing well, he's definitely going to get there. I don't know that they're going to need it because it should be a pretty wide line. The spread should be pretty wide. And so with that being said, we'll just keep that in mind. But you don't want to say it's not live. It's definitely live. Let's pull them up. Yeah, Detroit. I mean, I don't know. I just don't expect this game to stay close, and it's not to say that it can't. It's just that Minnesota is one of the better defenses in the entire league. They're one of the better teams. Um, I just don't know that they'll need 25 points from this guy. But it could happen. So we'll just move on. I don't know that I'd feel super confident firing up 25 points on the guy. I would say 25 is high number, especially considering all the things that we just discussed. So Sexton 20 points, pretty live number. I like him at 18 more than 20, but 20 he's been getting there pretty regularly. I just think his role is I don't know. It's going to change. So, he could get cut down just a little bit as far as his minutes. I mean, he's obviously going to get production and he's going to have the opportunity. Like he's like a six-man type of guy that's him and Clarkson are very similar in the way that they play. And so if Clarkson's playing, and I'm not sure if he is. Let's see, Clarkson. He's out. So Jordan Clarkson's out. Yeah. I think he's safe for now, at least his minutes. I think they're pretty secure where they're at right now. So 20 points, totally live number. I like it more at 18, but 20 I think is very live. Brunson, 25 points. He may not need to get to 25 today, but, he's pretty hot, scores the ball pretty well. And, I just think the spread is going to be wild. I do believe that these guys are going to get good minutes either way. That's just the nature of their coach. So Brunson's still live to get to 25 points. Just not something I'd feel super confident in. Uh, Dante at 15 points is a little bit more live, I think, just because it's a lower number. Jaren Jackson, 20 points. I wrote down foul next to him. That's because they're going against the Lakers today. So for some reason, he has to match up on Anthony Davis, which may not be an issue if Anthony Davis gets ruled out. But 20 points is very live. I would just be a little bit cautious if Anthony Davis plays because, this is the type of guy that could get Jaren in foul trouble pretty quickly. Bane, 20 points. Also a live number, but his minutes haven't really been there yet. I was looking at this, and his numbers they've been down pretty low. Sorry. So he did play 32 in his last appearance, but then it was 24, 37, 32, and then, well, that's been a while back before the injury, but we had 23. I don't know. Maybe he's back. Maybe his minutes will be there. I don't know. I'd be questioning it for sure. But 20 points is pretty doable. Usually the way I look at this is I play Jaren at 19 and Bane at 18. So, but the role should be there and the usage should be there. If they're getting the minutes, they're super live to surpass these numbers. You could be looking at Jaren and Bane going over 20 points. Gigi Jackson, 15 points. Yeah, he has the possibility of going over 15, but I like him at a lower number. 15 is a pretty reasonable number. His average is, I want to say 18. Minutes should be there. And the offensive usage should be there, sorry. And so I think that makes him pretty live to get around, 14, 15 points. Garland, 15 points. Yeah, I'm not, he drives the ball, but his shot's not been falling. 15's a low number. He's more than capable of getting there, and if he has an on day, he'll go past this pretty easily. But recent history shows that, he's just not. His shot's just not falling. So I'm not going to look to play his prop, but again, 15's a low enough number that you could. Franz at 13 points against Golden State. I don't mind this. Franz is a much better offensive player than the 13 points, and because of his more recent production, this guy's going to average closer to probably like 18 points. So if you can get him at 13, I don't mind that at all. DeJounte Murray, 18 points. He's pretty live if he plays, so keep your eye on whether he plays or not, but 18 points is a pretty live number. Bogdan, if he doesn't play, then 16 is a likable number. Same thing with Hunter at 12. I don't know if you'll be able to find these props. If DeJounte's out, these numbers are probably going to go up. But bear in mind that if Murray happens to be out, and there's probably a pretty good chance that he is, that Bogdan at 16 is a live number and Hunter at 12 is a live number. Jamal, 18 points. Yeah, probably not playing, so we'll just go on. Halliburton, 18 points, 9 assists. Another guy that hasn't been shooting the ball extremely well as of late, so I don't really love his points prop, but, he is a phenomenal facilitator, and so 9 assists is super live. Nimhard, 7 points. It's a very low number. He gets enough minutes that he could get there, but, whether you want to rely on this guy scoring or not is totally up to you. I don't mind the prop, but I don't love the prop. Maxey at 24 points. Not the worst matchup in the world. They're going against the Clippers, so it shows that it's kind of tough with the orange. But, as we all know, that the Clippers' defense has been pretty abysmal as of late. So you could definitely look to fire this up. Oubre, 12 points. If he's playing, I like it. Jalen Green, 22 points. Not a great spot, not an awful spot. And the dude's been on fire. Yeah, you just I've said it before. You just got to get the guys while they're streaking. Jalen's definitely streaking. He's been passing this number pretty frequently. It's not even. I'm not sure what his per 30. Actually, I think his per 36 is right around that, and his minutes have been pretty high. And the fact that he's been playing really well, I think that makes this number extremely live. But you're always going to like it a bit lower. 19, 20 is even better than 22. So if you can find that, definitely look to grab it. But I'm going to remind everyone this guy is inconsistent throughout his career. So as great as it may look or sound, it's still a volatile bet. D'Lo, 17 points. Yeah, if Anthony Davis is out, you can look to fire this up just like yesterday. It was kind of the same thing. And him and Reeves definitely, they came to ball, and so if Anthony Davis happens to be out, it's kind of the same deal, even if LeBron didn't. LeBron's going to take a bit of that facilitating. He's going to play point forward, no doubt. So it's going to take away from D'Lo a bit as far as like assist and stuff go, but the scoring should still be there. So 17 and 12, and you can go over 12 with Reeves. Yeah, just look at the starting lineup. Jalen Williams, so J-Dub right here. We got 18 points on him. That's a live number, even if SGA was in. Now SGA was ruled out, so 18 is very live, and then even up into the 20s, 22 to 24 becomes pretty live, I would say. But I'm still gonna like it a little bit lower. So 18, if you can find that number, look to fire it up. Paul George, 19 points, live number. Norman Powell, 12 points, live number. Booker at 21 points. Tough matchup, but obviously an elite scorer. I would say it's pretty good number. Beal, you have to keep your eye on whether this guy plays or not. I don't really love his points prop anyways, just based off his role. Brandon Miller, super inconsistent so far. His role's changed a bit lately. He's getting a little bit more like on ball roles. So 13 points is a live number, but tough matchup, inconsistent role, and inconsistent player. So I'm not going to say and pretend like I love it, but 13 is a pretty live number. Micic at 12 points. Tough matchup, but very obtainable number. So I think this guy could definitely get there. Man at 9 points, same thing. Stephen Curry, 24 points. Going against Orlando, pretty tough matchup. Suggs does pretty good on opposing guards. But the way Golden State runs their offense and Curry operates is a little bit different than some others. They set a lot of screens for this guy. And that's going to change those dynamics quite a bit. But again, I've mentioned this before. I don't really love playing points props on Curry. It's just not something that I personally like to do. But he's always liable to get to 24 points, even in a tough matchup. I'm just not running to play it personally. Kuminga, questionable to play. If he does play, he's live to get to 18. I like it more at 16, but definitely live. Clay, 16 points. He's been playing really, really well as of late. We'll mark him as he's been hot. His shots falling. And, even though it's a tough matchup, they're, in a position where, every game counts to them. And this guy's got the hot hand. So Clay at 16 points, if he's hitting a shot, he's going to get there pretty quick. We've said this time and time again. We want to catch them while they're streaking. Clay's streaking. And that's not the worst bet. It's a low enough number that I don't feel bad about. Gary Trent, I highlighted him because I wasn't sure about his role, thinking that IQ and RJ Barrett might play, but they're out. They've been ruled out. I think you can fire this bet up. It is a tough matchup, but 15 to 17 points is very live for Gary T. Considering his role, but it is a tough matchup. And then Caden Ivey, they're probably not playing. So anyways, with that being said, yeah, I like I like considering Clay and Gary, considering their low enough numbers and their roles. I don't mind those. Let's move on. Booker, not the worst bet. I do kind of like Booker. Paul George, he's been shooting the ball pretty well. I think 19 points is pretty reasonable. Norman Powell's always live to get to 12, so I don't hate that. Jalen Williams is going to be in a very good spot today. The usage should be there. He should have all the opportunity in the world to score, so I don't mind that. D'Lo and Reeves, if keep your eye on these guys. If Anthony Davis sets, we're definitely looking to fire this up. Jalen Green, at a bit of a lower number. I don't mind the 22, but if I can get him at like 19, 20, I like that a bit more. But Jalen Green, he's on fire right now. A lot of usage, a lot of minutes. And until he starts coming down, you're going to be looking to play this prop. Maxey at 24 points, not a bad look. Um, don't hate Nimhard, but again, I don't know if you want to rely on his scoring. Halliburton 9 assists, we're looking at that. DeJounte Murray's out. You're looking at Hunter and Bogdan. You're probably going to fire these up. Franz, 13 points. Not a bad spot. Keep your eye on whether Anthony Davis plays for even the opponent. So Jaren Jackson and Bane. You'll probably be looking at these. You'll be looking at these, especially if, like I said, Anthony Davis is out. You'll be looking at those. So Dante, 15 points. Pretty live bet. Brunson is even a pretty live bet. But, obviously you can get Brunson a little bit lower. I don't mind the 25 points, but if I can get him at like 22, I like it way more. That's just because I don't know if he's going to be relied on to score just based off, them blowing out their opponent. Sexton at 20 points, 18 to 20 points, really like that. Scoot at 13 points, like that. Banton, I don't know. I'm a little bit more question. I don't know what his role is going to be. So obviously he can get there. He's shown really, really good production as of late. And then Simon's being out. I think that you can look at this bet, but I do think Scoot's a bit more secure than Banton. Vassell at 17 points, do like that. DeRozan at 22. I'd be looking at it more a little bit lower too. Kind of the same thing, 19 to 22, anywhere in there is okay, but the lower you can get it, the better. I like Cam T if he's playing. If not, I don't know that I'm going to be relying on these other guys. KD's points props not the worst thing in the world. Aldama's rebound prop, don't mind that. Like I said, I bet him usually at 4. So if you can get him at 4, I really do like that. Siakam's point prop, not a bad look. Miles Turner's point prop, not a bad look. Vucevic rebound prop, like that. Allen and Mobley, I don't mind the stuff that we discussed. I'm a little bit, I'll be a little bit cautious just because I'm curious to see how their roles play out in the, come out in the wash. But they're not the worst. Kuzma's point prop, I do like it, but it's Kuzma and I like it lower. Avdia, I like his props. I like his 8 rebounds and 16 points. I would go more like 7 and 14. I like it way more at that. Holmes is super questionable, but because he's rebounding the ball so well, I don't mind the rebound prop on this guy. Capella, I do like his props. I think he's in a good spot. Kawhi's 20 points is pretty live. I like Hart's rebound. I just feel like, he's rebounding the ball so well, and his role and his minutes should be pretty secure. So 8 rebounds is super live. I'm in it. I do like his props, but I like him a little bit less just because I feel like his minutes, like I feel like even though he's rebounding the ball so well, I feel like he's outproducing or like he's exceeding his expectation, like the expectation and his averages. So with that being said, I do like his props, but I feel like 8's a little bit high. I don't mind taking it at 8, but obviously if I can get it lower, I like it more. Landell, if you can get him at 3 rebounds, sure, but you don't know what the role is going to be. Jabari, yeah, I mean, just too many question marks on this. Collins, I don't mind his. Laurie's, I don't mind his points prop. Giddy will probably get there on rebounds today. I don't mind that either. Chet, around, the 8 rebounds isn't awful. He averages around 10, and he's playing around 30 minutes. So 8's not terrible, but you're gonna like it more like 7. I do like it more at 7. LeBron's point prop, pretty good look. And then Claxton's rebound prop is a pretty good look as well. So this is kind of where I'm at. You look at this and figure out how you feel about, the things that we discussed. But again, a lot of these numbers are, I don't know. I mean, I'm creating them to hit. Like that's the idea. You're not gonna be able to find all these numbers because I get on these sports books and I see that they're marked literally just above my projections. And so, I mean, obviously the house, they want to win, and so they're marking them where it's very difficult to get there. But with that being said, I do believe that if you like hop into like a same game parlay, usually you can start to find these numbers. It may be a little bit number like for an example, I might find like Claxton at 8 rebounds. Yeah, the odds are not going to be nearly as good, but if you bundle them all together and all of them hit, you're looking at a pretty good chunk of change. So again, not financial advice. This is just kind of like how my mind works. These are my own personal projections, and you all will do as you do. Hopefully, you guys do your own research, and then you're able to use any other information you can find to you know to help you make a decision based off what you think. But anyways, with that being said, hopefully everyone has a good day. We will try to hop back on here, do a recap, see what hits, what doesn't hit. It's always about trying to improve our process and improve our projections, improve our hit rate. We want to hit all of these. I mean, that's the objective, is to hit as many of these as we possibly can. We hit around 75% yesterday, and hopefully we hit even more today. Good luck to everyone, and have a good night.